As we know, defense is a huge struggle in Madden 26, but luckily for you, I've been playing Madden for over a decade, and over the course of time, I've mastered some key defensive secrets. So 7 tips it took me over 10 years to learn, I'll be breaking down for you in 20 minutes. I will warn you though, the tips get more and more game-changing as we go along, so you're not going to want to miss out on any of them. Let's jump right into it. The first thing you're going to need on defense is the ability to stop the most common and meta offense. Let me show you exactly how I like to slow down gun bunch. Alright, so as we know, one of the most common plays to shut down and stop here is spacing switch. So that's the first one we'll talk about, alright? Now, I'm in the Vikings playbook, obviously, but you can do this from any playbook, any formation, alright? So you're going to come into any man coverage base play. I like cover one Robert press, alright? We're going to choose this play. Now, you're going to understand that this running back route out of the backfield, it's all about understanding what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it, right? They call this play because this running back route is glitched. If they take the snap and you run man coverage, you're going to see how that running back route is literally just going to get, a speed boost out of the backfield, and he's going to be able to catch that pass and turn that into a huge gain every time. But also, when you run zone coverage, right, just a regular cover too, you see your flats are going to backpedal too far, and then he's just going to be able to throw that pass for, again, easy first downs like every single time. So you're going to say, BLT, what's the answer? And you're probably struggling against this play right now. Well, what I like to do is I actually like to man up my outside corner like this onto their running back instead of having, a linebacker on him, just because we want to have better leverage to defend the flat. But it's not just done there, because you have to be good with the switch stick. Because if we just take the snap, you're just going to see how he's still going to get that same speed boost, and he's still going to be able to turn that into a big gain up the field, all right? So it's really not as simple as the scissor. Again, you have to combine it with the switch stick, okay? So I'm going to set it up the same way. We're just going to change up the man coverage assignments now. But this time I'm actually going to switch stick onto my corner. So you could start on Harrison Smith right here. Boom, take the snap, switch stick here, and now I come down, and now I'm able to take away the table route, right? And so it really just comes down to that, because by already being on your corner, you're going to get better leverage when you switch stick, so that like you're already out here to defend this, so you're able to see, boom, switch stick onto him, and then I'm already out here. If they throw this pass, you're probably getting an interception, and you're probably able to run it back for a touchdown, just because you're setting up the defense correctly. So again, scissor that left side by switching the man coverage assignments like this, right? Man up that outside corner onto the running back, and then when they go ahead and take the snap, just switch stick and come down and take this away. It's really not that hard, because again, everyone else is going to be guarded in man coverage, because this isn't really a man-beating play outside of that particular route. All right, the next thing any great defense needs is the ability to get the quarterback on the ground. Let me show you the best way to make any blitz better here in Madden 26. Alright, so if we come into, like I said, this is with any blitz, but I'm going to be breaking down 2 key concepts here for you. So, we're going to come into Mike Blitz 0, and you're going to just watch this play, alright? So, I'm just going to user this man, so I'm not going to be blitzing, and you're just going to see how this is going to be a 5-man rush, right? Just a simple 5-man rush. Honestly, we're just going to send 5 out, and you're going to see how everyone's going to get picked up. Now, that's a shed, right? Sheds are a thing, so we understand that they're kind of fluky, variable. You can't really tell when a shed's going to happen. And so, you can't really rely on them. Great job by this guy, and you're going to be able to get pressure, but it's not guaranteed, right? Because I'm sure if we, set the same play up, you're going to see how the pressure is not going to be immediate, right? They have a little bit more time. 65 gets shedded again. So again, you're going to be able to get sheds. We know sheds are a thing, and we understand that they can help you on defense. But let me show you something else that you can do. Instead of sending 5 right here, you only have to send like 4. Right, so I'm going to shift my D line to overload one side of the line. So this is when I talk about overload blitzing, right? Shift to one side to, overload one side, right? And then you're going to confuse the offensive line. Then drop this guy into a curl flat, right? We're going to drop this man into a curl flat. But here's the key. You want to pass commit your defense by pressing RB, then right stick up. So when you pass commit, that's going to when you pass commit, that's going to make your blitzes better. So you're going to see how when I get the attention of the center right here, and I'm going to be able to peel back. So I'm going to turbo engage with the offensive line, right? We're going to try to get the attention of the center, and then how you're able to see where we're going to be able to collapse that pocket way faster and get pressure. It's going to be like more staged, and you're going to be able to like actually predict that it's going to happen, whereas sheds are a lot more variable because you're able to play 3-on-2 on the backside of the play. Let me actually set it up one more time right here. So again, you're going to stand right over this center, you're going to turbo engage with him, and then you're going to try to confuse the line, and then you're able to see it. That time we send one last person, but the pressure's actually a little bit faster and the pressure's a lot more reliable. So bottom line here with this, it's like the pass commit is going to make your blitzes better and faster because your guys aren't going to be, worried about stopping the run. They're going to be totally committed to the pass, and then, being able to overload one side makes it to where if you get the attention of the center, I kind of do it here, but honestly you could do it a little bit better than I am, where if you get the attention of the center, there's only two guys, the left guard and the left tackle here against three blockers, or excuse me, three rushers. And so you're going to be able to get quick pressure, but then the other benefit is 77 is now going to be blocking nobody, right? You see how he's kind of blocking air right off the snap because you're dropping this man into coverage, which again gives you another man in coverage and you're able to get faster pressure. So the best way to kind of blitz here in this game, in this particular game, some years it's slot corners, some years it's loop blitzes, but in Madden 26, overload blitzing is the name of the game. You want to put more guys on the side of their offensive line, and then you're able to occupy that offensive line with your user, which is going to get you very quick and consistent pressure. Alright, being able to stop bunch formations is great. Being able to get the quarterback on the ground is great, but if you're not using the right defensive settings, none of it's going to matter. Let me show you the best defense settings to use right now. Alright, so when we talk about the best defensive settings, alright, we want to make sure that we have auto flip defensive play call turned on like 95% of the time. I was lapping up a blitz yesterday that I made a YouTube short on, maybe it's posted by now, I don't know, where you turn auto flip off. But the reason why you turn autoflip off sometimes, very rarely, like I said, is because you can flip your play. You get to control which side the slot corner and the whole alignment of the defense is. This is valuable when you need a blitz off a specific side every time for it to work, right? But that's not the case most of the time because you can see if I turn autoflip off, so you're going to see how this formation doubles flex for them has their slot corner, or excuse me, their slot receiver on the left side right here. Well, if I have auto flip off and then I flip my play to the right, you see how my slot corner is now blitzing off the opposite side of the slot receiver, which in this particular case, we don't want that to be the case. This blitz would work way better if we had it flipped. And so I guessed wrong, and so now I have to pay the price for it with a misaligned defense. Whereas if you simply just turned auto flip on, like you're about to see right here, you see how now since I have auto flip on, that man is lined up directly over that receiver, and our defense is now set up in the right way, because now if we call this blitz, right, we're able to shift our D line to the right, and we're going to get pressure off of that left side because the slot corner is on the opposite side of the running back. So bottom line, simplified with auto flip, you want to make sure you have it turned on again like 95% of the time. Very rarely would I recommend you turn it off because it allows you to control, or EA is just going to automatically control which side your defense lines up on, and they're going to get it right most of the time. But the stuff we've talked about before, cornerback matchups on balance to make sure that your defense doesn't misalign for you. Same thing with defensive motion response on disabled. All right, RPO pass key conservative. Zone drops depend on the situation. We're going to talk about these later in the video. Most of the time, you can just set them on 5 and forget them. Safety depth close, safety width on pinch, all right? And again, that's going to help you not get beat up the seam. All right, so you're going to see right here, cover 2, right? Safety depth close with pinch. If they just try to hike throw a seam pass, you're going to see how we're able to break on that pass because the airspace in between our safety and our slot corner is a lot better and a lot tighter, right? So you're going to see how these two guys are lined up super close to each other, and so there's really no window for them to throw this pass when we drop back. You're able to see how both of these guys are able to break on the pass and knock it away. So bottom line, again, with safety depth, you want to make sure you're on close and pinch so that you're not getting beat up the seam. And then also, like we've talked about before, you don't really sacrifice over the top. Just because they're super close, they're still able to get back there and play really well, given they're not like 85 speed. But for the most part, you want to make sure that you're using those defensive settings as the best ones. Alright, and I know I've been breaking down a lot of concepts in this video, so if you never want to lose any of them, make sure you go down below in the pinned comment and grab a written tactical breakdown, where again, I'm going to break everything I talk about in this video in written form so you can save it in a PDF on your phone. And the best part is, you can use code VAULT at checkout to get your first month for only $1. Please, don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling and don't understand what you're doing in Madden 26. Let's jump right back into it. Alright, the next pain point that plagues Madden players every single year is the ability to stop corner routes and flood concepts. Let me show you the best defense to be able to do that. Alright, so you're going to come into nickel through odd here. Although you can do this from any cover 6 defense in the game, I just prefer through odd the most. We're going to come into our zone drops, put our flats, curl flats, and hooks all on default because we're running a match coverage based play. Alright, so we're going to come into cover 6 right here, and you're going to see how they're just going to be in bunch like snappy, right? Very common bunch formation. They're just going to call corner streak flat, just something like this, very basic, and you're going to see how dangerous of a coverage this is going to be for us, because you're going to see how our 3 guys on the right side here are going to do a great job of taking this away. So we're just going to go ahead and call this play, take the snap, and just watch how they pass these routes off beautifully, not only on the right side, but you also see how that backside post from Brian Thomas Jr. was taken away. And I didn't even have to use or anything. Right, you can see I was just literally standing still, not doing anything, and we took this play away perfectly, right? The quarter flat zone is going to take away the flat route. The outside quarter is going to take away the corner route. The inside quarter is going to take away the streak. You're guarding the post route. Like, this is just perfect defense, so easy. And then you're also able to see, eventually you're going to be able to get pressure. But this coverage is obviously like a game changer, right? Even if you wanted to switch stick out of it too, to put your guys in even better position, right? So they call the same play, I want to switch stick over here, or this wasn't even the play. That wasn't even streak corner flat. But it also shows you that this is an adaptive coverage, right? So that's actually just leads me into a great point. If they put a crosser on Brian Thomas Jr. instead, right, again, this is another flood concept still, right? Let's just say this was their play. This is still a flood concept, and we're still going to be able to take it away. But everyone's assignment is going to change. The most important thing when you call this defense is your ability to switch stick and have a good user to recognize routes. So we're just going to take this snap here, boom, we're everywhere. We come up here, take that away, and now you can see how that's perfect defense, and the pressure is able to get the quarterback on the ground. Let's take a look at the instant replay. You're going to see how my 3-rec hook's going to take away their drag route. You're going to see how this cross is going to run across the field, but I'm switch sticking here to come down and take this away. So again, if they throw this pass, I'm coming down and taking it away, and then you're able to see how we're able to take away, their tight end flat again with our, quarter flat. So this would bait them, right? They would think that this is going to be open across the field, but a random dude is just coming and taking this away. They probably couldn't throw it here because they're expecting this man to take this crosser away. He doesn't, but then I come down with my user and take the crosser away, obviously, with the outside quarter. So the great thing about match coverage is, again, it's adaptive to a bunch of different route concepts. Even if we have them called like motion cross post, right, which isn't necessarily a flood concept, but I do want to show you that against every single play in this game, we're going to be able to do a great job with this specific coverage, right? We're switch sticking, we're everywhere, and then you would obviously have to guard that drag across the field. And that's the thing, right? It's kind of a high risk, high reward coverage. I'm just going to be honest with you, because against flood concepts, it's very easy. Don't get it twisted, right? You saw what happened when they called the flood. But against, if you're going to sit in this defense all game, like regardless of what coverage they're calling, you have to recognize this. Like, I have to be here with this man to take away this drag. But you see everyone else is taking it away, but then you just mess this up and you don't guard that. So with the match coverage, I'm always going to be honest with you guys. With the match coverage, you have to make sure that you're having good user, you're switch sticking. If you're going to use it only against flood concepts, right, when you know they're calling a flood concept, great. You can kind of just put your controller down and watch your defense play for you. But when they're running a bunch of guys in different directions, you're going to have to be really sound with your user and really sound with your switch stick. But bottom line, I know you've been struggling with corner routes, and that's the best way to take them away. Calling match coverages like cover 4, cover 6, and cover 4 quarters. Alright, being able to get pressure on the quarterback, being able to play sticky coverage is great, but if you can't stop the run, no one's taking you seriously, and no one's even going to pass the ball on someone who can't stop the run. Let me show you the best way to fix that right now. Alright, so with run defense, you can do this from any formation. I just like, nickel 2-4 is a good one. Anything where you have 4 defensive linemen is a great option. Alright, this is the gap shoot method that I talk about. I'm going to show you 2 ways to stop the run here. But all you want to do is stand 4 yards over the guard, or about 4 yards over the guard on the running back side, and you're basically going to be making a swooping motion. So you're going to go a little bit to the left here and then down, because essentially you're just trying to loop around the offensive line and shoot the gap. So I'm going to take the snap right here. I'm going to try to loop around, meet that guy at the point of attack. That time you get blocked. Now, if you get blocked a lot of the time, I'm going to be honest, right, your other players, that's going to leave someone else free. But you obviously want to be able to actually shoot the gap yourself and make the play. So you're going to see right there, beautiful job by me. That time I loop all the way around the line. And it's all about picking your gaps. The most important thing is practice, because you see how right here I have to loop all the way around these guys, and then I'm able to press X on Xbox, square on PlayStation to dive tackle this running back in the backfield. So you see the handoff, we loop all the way around the line, and they're able to, just dive tackle and get that gap shoot in the backfield, pretty easily. Boom. Very easy, right? Just loop around and make that play. And again, the key is making sure that you're standing far enough back, because you're going to see if you try to do it like a lot of people like to say, just stand right over the center. No, because if you stand right over the center, he's just going to block you, which again could leave someone else free, but you want to guarantee that you're able to make that play. And the best way to kind of guarantee it is to actually do it yourself with your user. So again, about 4 yards back, about right here, then you're just going to try to loop around, and then exactly what I do right there, press X on Xbox, square on PlayStation to make that dive tackle, because you have to understand, these linemen are too slow. You're way faster than them. So we take a look at 65 right here. Boom, you're going to see how he's trying to peel around to get me, but he's just a little late, because again, I dive tackle. So I loop all the way around, and then I press X square. That's why having heat seeker assist turned on is very important, as I've talked about in other videos, but you're able to get that dive tackle in the backfield. So again, this is going to take some practice. This is what a very good Hall of Fame, type of linebacker like Luke Kuechly is able to do, right? Is just loop around those offensive linemen and shoot the gap. But for those of you guys that might be newer to the game, still, I want to help you out against the run. So you're going to come into mid blitz, right? Because this is like automatic run defense where you can just put your controller down, right? So a couple of key things here. With this particular version, you see how there's no flame icon over the top of anyone's head. But if you take this man right here, right, pace, and you move over the center, now you're going to see how there's a flame icon over the top of Cashman, right? So if you take, you're going to basically be retargeting the offensive line, and then when you take the snap, you're able to see how you're just able to run in free. It's very consistent, very, very easy. They're going to have to make some offensive line blocking adjustments in order to actually fix this, but not a lot of people even know that this is a thing, where if you just take, because again, you see if I'm over here, there's no flame icon. But as soon as I move over to center, now they retarget, and I run into the center, and we're able to get that play in the backfield. So really the most important thing here is just moving over the center to be able to retarget the offensive line and then go make a play in the backfield, all right? So I gave you 2 great ways to stop the run. The first way is what I like to do, gap shooting. But if you're really struggling against the run and you just want some automatic run defense, just call mid blitz, move over the center to retarget the line, and you're going to be able to get guys to walk in free just like that. All right, before I jump into the last 2 secrets that you're absolutely not going to want to miss, I want to remind you to go down below and subscribe to this channel, because I break down defensive secrets just like this every single day, and you're not going to miss out on any of them. Let's jump right back into it. All right, the next secret that I want to show you is one that's actually new here to Madden 26. And it's going to allow you to get pressure from really only sending 2 or 3 people. Let me show you. All right, and that trick that I'm talking about here is actually called custom stunts. All right, so we're gonna come into nickel 3-3 single mug, and I'm gonna show you some of the best stunts that are really good. So you're gonna come into Texas 4-man, all right, and we're going to spread our defensive line. This is a good stunt. You can do this from any play in this particular formation, but I like Tampa too, right? So all you're gonna do is spread your defensive line, pass commit your defense. Again, like I told you earlier, is going to make your blitzes a lot better and a lot faster, right? So if we just call this play and you get the attention of the center for just a second, well, really you don't want to, fully engage with him, but you see how those guys are able to come in free. And you might have missed it, so we're gonna look at the instant replay, because this is key. These 2 guys off the edge are looping around and through. Like normally these guys loop through the edge, but now they're coming through the B gap, right? Both of them. right? And so I'm, occupying the center momentarily, right? Then I'm able to get back into coverage. But these linemen, like, this is supposed to be 43, he's supposed to get blocked by this tackle, but now the guard has to pick him up, and honestly he has a running head start, so that's why he's kind of able to just push his way into the quarterback. Same thing on the other side. 65 is not really thinking he's supposed to be blocking 98, and so again, having the kind of the running start is going to make this a lot better for you, rather than just using a traditional 4-man rush, or a lot of the time you're just relying on sheds, right? Just want to go through it again, try to get the attention of this man, and then you're able to see exactly what I'm talking about, where that guard isn't ready to deal with the speed and the finesse, possibly, of my edge rusher, right? So he's just easily gonna just run right through this guy, because also this guy has bad leverage. 76 has bad leverage on this guy, and so then we're able to just get our quick pressure, quick sack. Same thing on the other side with 93. So that's really just a great stunt. But I always want to be a creator who's gonna give you guys the full truth, right? This isn't overpowered because it's not, the stunt doesn't come in every time like it used to earlier in the year. Now, people, if they see this particular stunt, they're going to take the snap and they're going to immediately try to roll out on you, because there's no contain on that side, right? When you think about it, those two stunting guys are looping through, right? And no one has contain on the quarterback now, right? It's going to be, the contain's going to be way worse than even if you just called a regular 4-man rush. Right, and so you can never just run this stunt over and over and over again like you could at the beginning of Madden 26. Instead, what you've got to do is mix it in with another stunt, right? The left exit 2-man stunt. When you're playing against right-handed quarterbacks, you'd be using the right exit 2-man against left-handed quarterbacks. But against righties, you want to be able to contain off of the right side, but you still want to stun off the left. And so that's why this stunt is so valuable, because now you're getting basically the best of both worlds. So now we're going to have them take the snap, and you're still going to see how on that left side right here, we're able to get that pressure, right? We're able to push our man into the quarterback. We're able to collapse the pocket well, right? And so, that's going to be very beneficial for you. But the main benefit of this is they're going to be contained. They can't roll out on this. You're able to see we're able to push our way into the quarterback right here, get him on the ground, because, again, we're collapsing the pocket. But again, when we call that same left exit 2-man stunt, spread the defensive line pass commit, right, you're going to see how they're going to immediately try to roll out, and there's 98 right there for the contain. And honestly, contains are kind of hidden in this game. You can't really tell when you're on offense if a man's in a contain or not if you immediately try to roll out. So, like, they might immediately try to roll out here, but then they're just going to meet a contain. Right, and so then you're still able to get that pressure or that stunt in the middle right here off of that left side. So custom stunts, and again, you can do this from any formation. 3 single mug just happens to be one of the most popular ones. But those are two of the best stunts. There's also like pirate stunts that are really good. So really what I would do is I would get into practice mode, lab up some of these stunts, which ones you like. You have 2-man stunts, you have 4-man stunts, right? And just see which ones work best with a particular play or formation. But always keep in mind that when you take your containment off the field, you need to mix them in with stunts that actually are able to contain the quarterback, like the left exit 2-man. All right, that last defensive secret is one that really only the top 1% of players are actually doing correctly, and it's the D-pad switch stick. Let me show you the best way to use it. All right, so we're going to come in back into Mike Blitz 0, right, from Nickel 33 Cub, all right? Or actually, no, I'm going to show you a different play first. So we're going to come into Tampa 2. I want to show you that the switch stick, when we talk about the switch stick, we're talking about using the right stick to switch players. Right? So again, we're going to take the snap and we're just switching all around the field using the right stick. We're able to take away windows. Again, I wouldn't do what I just did where you're just mindlessly switching, but you get my point. When you flick the right stick in the direction of the player you want to switch onto, you're able to switch players, right? And so this is very helpful when routes get open and you want to be able to take them away quickly, right? So we know about that with the right stick. But here's the thing a lot of people miss. If you happen to blitz your user, whether it be by accident or you just didn't know that you can't do this, when I try to switch stick with the right stick, I can't use the right stick anymore because my player that I'm controlling is in a blitz assignment. They have to be in man coverage or they have to be in a zone assignment, some sort of coverage assignment, right? And so a lot of people don't know that. But here's the thing. when you get caught in a blitz or you blitz by accident or on purpose, you can still switch stick, but now you have to use the D-pad to do it. So we're going to take this snap, and I D-pad switch stick, but once you D-pad switch stick one time, then you can return to using the right stick. So again, right there what I did was I used the D-pad to switch stick the first time onto the safety, right, onto this guy right here. So I started on the linebacker, I pressed D-pad right to switch stick onto this man right here, and then I'm able to use the right stick now to switch onto Harrison Smith, to switch onto whoever I want to switch onto next, right? And so again, you have to use the D-pad first if you're taking a player who's in a blitz assignment and you're trying to switch onto a coverage assignment, right? So if this is also great if you get caught on a defensive lineman, like if I got caught onto Hargrave, I can just immediately D-pad switch stick, and now I'm good to switch onto all these other guys across the field. So really, that's the best way to switch stick. But let me show you another insane use case to pair this up with a great blitz. So if we come into nickel 3-3 Cub now, and we come into Mike Blitz 0, this is kind of combining what I told you earlier about overload blitzing and pass committing, right? So we're going to set up the same defense I showed you earlier, but this time we're going to leave our user in a blitz assignment, right? And you're going to say, BLT, well, now you can't switch it. No, we're going to use the D-pad to do it, right? So we're going to stand about 4 yards over this center right here. And so as soon as the ball is snapped, I'm going to press D-pad to the right to switch onto this curl flat defender, right? I don't want to switch on any man coverage guys, but I would hopefully want to switch onto that curl flat. So again, I'm going to do it, immediately D-pad switch stick, and now you see how I'm back into coverage. Now again, you would want to user that man and actually, control stuff, which I'm going to do in the next play. But that's so valuable because if you're able to create that 3-on-2, right, this time he runs into the wrong guy. But if he ran into 73 right here, which I'm going to make sure happens on this play, but when he runs into 73, you create that 3-on-2. So you create that numbers advantage. So maybe stand right about here. I can set up the same defense, right? Pass commit, overload, blitz them, and I'm going to immediately press D-pad to the right. All right, so I'm going to immediately press D-pad to the right, take the snap, immediately D-pad switch stick, and now you're able to see we're going to be able to come in really fast. And when you pair this again with a good man coverage behind it, it makes it very valuable, right? So we look at the instant replay right here. Boom. I mean, he kind of, oh no, he did. He actually looped around pretty well. Okay, so we're able to get that quick pressure on the quarterback. Look at this man, able to just walk in free right here and get the quarterback on the ground because, again, we're overloading one side of the line, making it so that they have to completely change their block targeting. But the great thing is we're still in coverage. So this is really only the same 5-man blitz, but I showed you how this 5-man blitz doesn't work if you don't pass commit, if you don't overload blitz. But when you combine all these things together, you're able to get pressure. And I'm still in coverage because I use the D-pad to switch stick. I'm able to take away their table route. I would be able to take away their dig if I needed to, right? So when you combine everything that I'm talking about together, you have a really great defensive scheme because you're going to be able to overload blitz like this from Cub. You're going to get better pressure because you're pass committing, but you're still going to be able to get back into coverage sooner because you're D-pad switch sticking. So that's another secret a lot of people don't know about, but it's going to help you out tremendously on defense. All right, if you enjoyed any of those 7 secret tips, I encourage you to go down below and subscribe to this channel because I break down defensive secrets like this every single day on Madden 26, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of them. But if you want this entire video in written form, step by step, so you never lose in your next game, go to the link down below in the pinned comment and check out my written tactical breakdowns. And again, the best part is you can subscribe and get all of my written breakdowns this month for only $1. Please don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling to win games here in Madden 26. But if you still can't score any points in Madden 26, check out this video where I break down the top 3 offensive playbooks you need to try out. I'll see you over there.